What's going on, guys? So first of all, I want to say thank you to the at least 8 or 9 people that saw my first video about this gun, and to the one person that shared it. Appreciate that. I just wanted to kind of make another quick video to add a little context to that video about this gun and it not working. First thing I need to talk about is the fact that I don't make videos, I don't edit videos, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Me recording myself shooting this gun is the first time I've ever been on camera. So I don't know how any of it works. And I've never had any intentions of being on camera, especially being on camera to make a video that's going on the internet. So with all that being said, if anybody doesn't understand why that video is so terrible, that's why. The only reason I even bought a GoPro was so that I could simply record my malfunctions with this gun to try to put it through the RMA process a second time, which I have not done. I have RMA'd it one time. We'll get into that more in a minute. So with that being said, if you're wondering why it's such a terrible video, the clips are out of order, you can kind of see the video jumps around. Well, that's why. It was originally just one video that was about 45 minutes long, and because I don't know how to edit videos, I was trying to cut pieces out and just leave the parts, because there's a lot of nonsense, me standing there running my mouth while I'm loading mags and all that, and nobody needs to watch that. And I really couldn't figure it out, so I did figure out how to cut clips out of it. So I ended up cutting clips of all the parts that I thought were pertinent, and then I found out how to add them all together into one video. So to back this story up, I want to say probably late January, early February was when I originally RMA'd this. And I still have all the emails. I could get you guys the exact dates if anybody was really curious, or that curious. And the reason I chose those months is because it's pretty cold where I live, so I don't do as much shooting in the winter time. So I figured that would be a good time to send the gun in, get it fixed. That way I could have it back early spring and be ready to use it all spring and summer long. So ever since the gun was brand new, it's never worked. Like, this wasn't a problem that started over time. In fact, the very first time I shot it, the first time I pulled the trigger on this gun with ammo in it, I got a click. And at first, I didn't think a whole lot of it. Right, the gun's brand new. I did oil it up before I took it out for the first time. But there's a lot of issues that could go wrong with a new gun, right? Maybe it needs a little break-in time. And I wouldn't think that a gun this expensive would need break-in time. You should be able to just shoot it. You shouldn't have issues. For anybody that doesn't know, this gun's not cheap. Especially being the SBR and the suppressed model, right? You get 2 tax stamps to pay for. So it is not a cheap gun. So the very first time I try to shoot it, I get a click. Alright. Rack a new round in. And I noticed it was hard to rack after that first time, right? Like, if you watched my video, me shooting this, it takes a lot of force when it malfunctions to pull this bolt back. All right, now it doesn't. When there's no ammo in it, it functions good. So that first time shooting it, I would have to guess I probably put between 200 or 300 rounds through it, and I probably had 8 or 9 malfunctions maybe. So I didn't document it or videotape it because I don't make videos. It's not what I do. Like I said, like I don't take a camera with me when I go to the shooting range. I just go to shoot and have fun. So my first experience with the gun wasn't very good, but I don't think a whole lot of it, because like I said, maybe it's just a little rough around the edges. Maybe my ammo choice is not good, although I did have 3 or 4 brands with me the first time, and that's mainly because I wanted to try different kinds to see what was the most quiet in this, because that was kind of my purpose for buying a short suppressed 300 Blackout. Right, I want it to be quiet. I really have no intent or interest in running supers in this gun. So that being said, I bought more ammo, different brands. Try it again. I keep getting the same malfunction where it doesn't matter if I run the charging handle when I load it, if I do it from bolt lock, doesn't matter. It happens while the gun's shooting. Right, if I put a mag in and I chamber around and everything works, I start shooting it, I might get 1 round, I might get 20 rounds. But eventually, that bolt is not going to go all the way back in the battery, and I'm going to get a click. Doesn't matter if I use the factory mag, P mags, Gen 1 or 2, 3, doesn't matter. Window P mags, it does not matter. So it was getting pretty frustrating at that point. So I did take it to the range a 3rd time and try again. And in between the 2nd and 3rd time, I cleaned it because it's suppressed, so it gets dirty. I wouldn't think that 500 or 600 rounds would make this thing dirty enough that it wouldn't function. But I tried cleaning it, cleaned it, oiled it, went back to the range. At this point, I probably had 8 or 9 different brands of ammo, and not a single one of them would properly function in this gun. It's the same malfunction every time, where whether it's from racking it, from running the bolt release, or while shooting, it doesn't go all the way back in the battery and I just get a click. And then it's really hard to open. Like if you watch that whole video, you'll see a part where I had to put gloves on because I'm mortaring this thing off the table trying to get this charging handle back to open the bolt, and this charging handle is just tearing my fingers up because I'm putting so much force into it and slamming this thing around just trying to get that bolt open. So that's when after the 3rd time of testing this gun, after cleaning it and lubing it, I decided I'm going to contact Q, because it doesn't matter what I do, the thing just does not work. So I reach out and they're like, oh, they were great at first. They got right back to me, told them what was going on, told them the different kinds of ammo I've used, and they said, yeah, we need to take a look at it, send it in. So they send me the label, I send it in, and they did warn me that they're a little backed up, which, I'm okay with that. It was winter time, so that's why I planned to do it in the middle of winter. So anyway, a few weeks goes by and they reach back out. They tell me that they're shipping my gun back to me. They tell me they fired 10 subs and 10 supers and had 0 malfunctions, and the gun's good to go, nothing wrong with it. And I knew sending it in, I said to myself before I sent it that they probably just have standard procedure where they test fire a gun so many times, and if the malfunction doesn't happen or they have no problems, then it's good to go. And so I said to myself before I sent it in, I said, they're going to fire however many rounds, they're not going to experience the malfunction, and they're going to send it back. Sure enough, that's what happened. So I get the gun back, take it to the shooting range, and this is the video that you guys saw the clips of. Right, that was the first time I shot it since I got it back from the QRMA process. And as you can see in the video, the gun doesn't work. Like, there is a problem. It doesn't matter if it's good quality Hornady Sub X ammo or smaller company like Minuteman Munitions. It doesn't matter. AAC ammo, Ammo Inc., Sig Marksman open tip match. It doesn't matter. The gun doesn't work. Doesn't matter what kind of ammo it is. Right, so I took that video, and after that I got so frustrated I just put the gun up on the wall and had to step away from it for a while. And I just kind of forgot about it and moved on because I was so frustrated. Well, in the meantime, after that day of shooting it, which was March 16th, by the way, I made that video on my new GoPro that I barely know how to use. It's only got 2 buttons, and I barely know how to use it. But I took that video, and it just sat on my GoPro for months. And in the meantime, I would see on the internet, somebody would make a video about a honey badger, and then I would just comment my experience with mine, right? Like, yeah, mine just doesn't work. It doesn't matter what I do. You know, Q says it's good to go, but it doesn't work. And Kevin Brittingham, if anybody's spent any time on YouTube in the gun space, obviously knows who that is, the owner of Q. You know, more than once, he managed to find my comment and had something smart to say. And I don't knock him for that. It's his company. He obviously I would assume wants to make good products. And that part is what it is. But after this recent time he did it, I mentioned my comment about how my gun doesn't work. I try ammo, try different mags, doesn't matter. Well, after that I said, you know what? I'm going to put the video out there so Kevin can watch it. So he can see that I'm not full of shit. My gun just doesn't work. So after he commented on my video that day, I made a YouTube channel. I downloaded the video off my GoPro onto the Quick app, and I got to work trying to figure out how to turn that long 40-some minute video into something I could post. And that's what I did. I went back to the comment. I tagged Kevin in it so he could watch it and see for himself. And of course I never heard from him. I probably never will. I'm sure they don't care. Especially now that I'm blasting it on the internet, right? And don't get me wrong, the whole purpose of this isn't to bash Q. I'm just sharing my experience. Right? People can make their own decisions, and I'm not even saying to anybody not to buy Q products or a honey badger, because I'm sure the vast majority of them are just fine. Like, mine's obviously not. This gun has problems. Don't know what it is. I don't know, one particular part is just slightly out of spec, or I don't know. I'm not an engineer. But I do know that this gun is a lemon, and no company's perfect, right? Every company's gonna have QC things slip through the cracks, whether it's one part that's out of spec causing a problem, whatever it is. Like, no company's perfect. So the whole purpose of this wasn't to just bash Q and tell people not to buy their products, because that's just not the way I think. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I got one of the more expensive guns I've ever bought. It doesn't work, like, at all. And I'm kind of considering buying a boombox. I probably won't because of my experience with this one, but I do want to. But anyway, so I just wanted to add a little context for the whole 8 people or so that watched my first video. I wanted to explain why the video is so terrible and the whole purpose behind it. Because I'm not trying to make a grand entry into YouTube. I'm not trying to bash Q. I'm just trying to prove my point that my particular honey badger is a lemon. Regardless of what Kevin or anybody says, this gun just doesn't work. You know, so if anybody's got any questions about the Honey Badger, my experience, or what I have and haven't tried, just leave that in the comments below. You know, I'll answer them, because I'm sure there's only going to be like one if I'm lucky. But, you know, you got any questions, just leave it below.